Hello and welcome to the NailBitingBuildUp with me, Denny Trento.
And me, Will Dodds.
And today we'll be assessing Atlético Madrid. Can they win a Champions League? Can they win La Liga? All of which we'll discuss in the following programme.
I'm in favour of Atlético Madrid. I think they're a good team, they're solid and they can score goals. So I think they have a genuine chance of winning La Liga.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to win La Liga personally. I think they're a very solid team. They've improved since last season. They're very good defensively. But my view on this argument is that they're not going to win the league, but they're going to push. They're going to push and they're definitely finished top three.
Last season, I think Atlético Madrid kind of burst onto the scene as not just a nearly team like Valencia have been in recent years. They had Falcao, who was sold for a lot of money, so they had a lot of money to invest in the summer, and they brought in good players, I think, in Alderweireld and David Villa. They have a good youth system. They've brought through players like Koke and Oliver Torres, so I think that's improved this season. But for the main reason I think they're a good team this season is they're solid at the back. Thibaut Courtois has only conceded 0.65 goals a game on average this season so far, is leading the Zamora charts. At the back, Miranda and Godin have a very solid centre-back partnership, and so far Atlético Madrid don't really look like conceding goals. In the Super Cup, they went home and away to Barcelona and only conceded one goal, and then they beat Real Madrid at Santiago Bernabéu 1-0 in the league. So I think this shows that they can keep a tight defence, something which is crucial in winning titles.
Yeah, I think I want to echo that to some extent. I think the Atlético Madrid are very, very solid at the back. I've been particularly impressed by, although Godin and Miranda have played very well this season, formed a really formidable partnership, keeping Alderweireld out of the team. I've been really impressed with Juan Fran and Felipe Luis bombing forward. So yeah, no, I definitely don't dispute that. They're very good at the back. I think their back four is actually very solid. Arguably, even possibly even the most solid in the league, perhaps. I mean, statistically anyway, it is at the moment. But I don't think Atlético Madrid are going to win the league, and one of the main reasons is if you draw a direct comparison to Atlético Madrid this time last year. Now, this time last year they had an informed striker, probably the best striker in the world in Radamel Falcao at this moment in time. Scored 19 league goals at this time last season, and he was really on fire in the first half of last season, particularly. And so they really had a solid basis to build off in terms of the first leg of the season. They were second in the league, and they really looked formidable. This season they're in exactly the same position. They have an informed striker in Diego Costa as well, just like they did with last season with Radamel Falcao. And what we need to consider is the fact that Atlético Madrid failed to finish in the top two last season, despite at the start of the season it looking like it could possibly happen. And there are a number of reasons for this. I think some of their players tired throughout the season. I know it's not an excuse, but I think it is true to some extent. And I think that Atlético Madrid, had a bad run of fixtures. And I think so far this season, Atlético Madrid have had a reasonably nice run of fixtures, despite obviously going to the Bernabéu. So I think that Atlético Madrid have had a nice run of fixtures, and I think that when the fixtures get a little bit more competitive, and when the inexperience of the likes of Oliver Torres and Koke, Raul Garcia, just to an extent, although he's slightly older than the other two, show a little bit, then I think that they could be found out to an extent. I'm not saying that they won't press Barcelona and Real Madrid this season, but I don't think they're going to finish in the top two.
I personally, on the other hand, think they have staying power at the top. I think they don't just have Diego Costa, they have David Villa, who has 9 La Liga goals so far this season. Adrian Lopez, who a couple of seasons ago was being touted for a move to the Premier League. So he's obviously a talented player, even if he has gone slightly off the boil in recent years. Arda Turan was something they actually relied on at the start of the season. It shows how far they've come since even the start of the season. The fact that he's not getting in the team anymore. Raul Garcia and Koke are showing exceptional form. Oliver Torres is a good prospect. So going forward, I think that they do have the longevity to stay near the top. The thing is also, as you were saying about, they started second about this time last season, but Barcelona and Real Madrid were able to end up with a large gap, especially Real Madrid, who were third at this stage last season. But I think that those two teams have issues of their own.
Do you not think that those two teams have improved there this season? Personnel-wise, you'd have to say.
Real Madrid.
I think Real Madrid, since the beginning of the season, they had a little bit of a dodgy start, 5 points off the lead. But I think they've really picked it up in recent weeks. I think they've
picked it up going forward, but also Atlético Madrid have done that. They won 7-0 against Getafe recently. They scored 4 in Europe against
Atlético Madrid failed to break down Elche, for instance.
Yeah, well, Real Madrid failed to break down Atletico Madrid earlier in the season. Real Madrid haven't been free scoring all season. They started off quite
that's
slowly.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Real Madrid are really coming into their stride now. Do you think Atletico Madrid are going to hold the likes of an informed Bale, an informed Ronaldo, an informed Benzema? And these three players are really coming into their own at the moment. Obviously, Ronaldo's injured. Do you think that they're obviously going to improve? And do you think that Atletico Madrid can really keep that very small gap between the two sides?
One thing I would like to pick up on there, as you say, an informed Bale. Bale has shown that he can play well against the smaller teams, but his only chance against Barcelona so far this season, he wasn't. Admittedly, it was early on, and admittedly, he may have even been carrying an injury. He'd been injured before that game, but Bale, so far, on evidence against Barcelona, showed that he did not perform and he was taken off after 60 minutes. Maybe Bale can perform against the likes of Varla did when he scored a hat-trick, but will he do that against...
You say he can't perform against the big sides. I think Juventus away rather showed that he can. I think he was behind Ronaldo, the best Real Madrid player on the pitch in that game, scored a goal. Also, you look at the games against Sevilla. Now, Sevilla aren't necessarily the big dogs that they were 3 or 4 years ago.
Well, they clearly showed that with conceding 7 goals.
Yeah, as I said, but they're definitely a side that's going to be vying to finish in the top 6 in La Liga, and he still he had an absolutely outstanding game. So I think that Bale really does look solid, and I think that he's definitely going to improve. As I said, he wasn't, I don't think, match fit against Barcelona, and Barcelona, they're not going to be playing Barcelona every week, and even so, I think Real Madrid are actually unlucky to lose to Barcelona in that respect. Barcelona, again, they've improved. They can now. Last season, they had a spell where Messi was at the team around about the time where they suffered that 7-0 embarrassment against Bayern Munich, maybe a little bit before, and they struggled for a little bit. They had a little bit of a blip domestically for a brief spell towards the end of last season when Messi was out. They now have Neymar to come in. They now look really good domestically without Messi in the team. So I just think the top 2 sides in Spain look so strong, really, on paper. Definitely domestically in any case. So I think that Atletico Madrid aren't going to be able to break them up.
Well, my main issue is I don't think anyone can deny that Barcelona and Real Madrid will score goals, but at the back I find both of them slightly susceptible. Real Madrid, for a start, have conceded 17 goals in the league so far.
Real Madrid have also had a lot of injuries at the back, and I think you need to take that into consideration. Now that they seem to be settling on Pepe and Ramos, the original sort of duo at the back. Marcelo, I think, is an exceptional left back who's now recently also come back from injury. Carvajal, I think, has added pace at the back, and I think he looks solid. So I actually think they're going to be good this season defensively, and I think they're going to continue to improve as soon as that back four that I just said continues to develop. It's going to continue to get better.
But doesn't it show that even though they were able to score 7 goals against Seville, they still conceded 3 and Seville missed a penalty?
Well, let's not forget. Sevilla have Ivan Rakitic, who's obviously in amazing form this season, and Sevilla have not had a problem scoring goals this season.
Yeah, but still, I don't think that you can really be allowing 3 goals to go in and having such open games, and if that had been against Barcelona, been against Atletico Madrid, I don't think such poor defence would have been acceptable. I don't think you can say
an open game against
in the Liga.
If you go attack versus attack, then Real Madrid beat Atletico Madrid hands down. So I really, I don't see how Atletico Madrid are better in attack than Real Madrid. So I don't understand your argument there. Also, if they play open games throughout the season, they've got more attacking quality than any other side in La Liga, barring perhaps Barcelona. So they will beat every single side. The games that Real Madrid lose this season, the games that Real Madrid have struggled in this season, have not been the open games, the high-scoring games. They always win those games. It's the games where a side packs out the defence and your side narrows down the pitch. It doesn't allow Ronaldo to come in field. It forces people like Ronaldo down the line. And it just crowds out the midfield.
They haven't got any options.
That. Obviously, it's the tight games that Real Madrid struggling, not the open games. So I don't think that's a worry, Real Madrid's.
Real Madrid, in an open game, obviously in a shootout between 2 teams who can score more goals, Real Madrid will 9 times out of 10 come out on top. No, but what I was saying is the fact that they could not leave themselves so open, because against a team like Barcelona, against a team like even Atletico Madrid, they will need one chance and they will take that chance and then they can hold Madrid out, as Atletico showed in the fixture at Santiago Bernabeu earlier this season with a 1-0 victory. Diego Costa, early in the game, around the 13th minute, took his chance. Atletico Madrid were able to hold them out.
He had a few chances.
When Real Madrid come up against Barcelona again. Obviously, they lost their first game. Real Madrid actually had a lot of chances in that Barcelona game.
I don't think they had a lot. I think Ronaldo had a decent chance, and they should have had a penalty. Should have made it 1-0.
But I'm talking in terms of possession and in terms of territory. Real Madrid were able to get on top. But the thing is, when they come up against the top teams, maybe against Seville they can go and score 7. But maybe against Valladolid they can go and score 4. But against Barcelona and against Atletico, I don't think they're going to be able to do that. So they're going to have to rely on their defence slightly more. And I think that's where they can come unstuck. Same with Barcelona to an extent.
I think now
Javier Mascherano isn't a centre back, and I think everyone knows that. Bartra, a good defender as he may be, he's inexperienced, and I think Jordi Alba can be susceptible.
You're saying Bartra's inexperienced, but I remember Atletico Madrid have Diego Godin in their defence. Also, they have Oliver Torres and Koke. Koke's been outstanding form this season.
I don't think they rely on Torres. They do not rely on Oliver Torres.
I'm not saying they do. But the fact that Koke, for instance, has 8 assists in the league really illustrates the fact that he's a key man, and he's a key man in terms of supplying the strikers. Yeah. And as soon as the strikers lose any supply, the strikers are going to struggle. Now they also have.
No, well, you say Koke. You've also got Raul Garcia. You've also got Adrian Lopez.
Adrian Lopez isn't getting a game, and he's more of a striker, really.
And no, Adrian Lopez has been playing just behind the striker. He's been playing wide. David Villa can play wide. And Arda Turan was one of the key men.
Adrian Lopez is definitely a striker by trade. He played on the left last season.
Yeah, I know. He's a versatile player.
I think if you analyse the game against Elche, for instance, I think when sides really do force Atletico Madrid wide, much like against Real Madrid. Atletico Madrid are going to play very centrally. They play very centrally. They play Koke, and they play generally their best starting lineup would be Koke and Raul Garcia, possibly Arda Turan. So when they don't have much pace in behind, Felipe Luis and Juan Fran overlap to give them.
They're not pacey fullbacks, so I'll accept that.
They give them that width, but Atletico Madrid didn't really have any options when they tucked in, when Elche tucked in. Atletico Madrid failed to supply Diego Costa. They failed to supply David Villa. Actually, David Villa didn't even play in that game. But it wasn't a convincing performance from Atletico, and I think there's going to be more of those, and I think they're going to become more frequent, and I think sides are going to learn how to deal with Atletico Madrid. And that's the reason why I don't think, just like last season, I don't think they're going to be able to keep it up for the whole season. Okay,
well, we've discussed the Liga. Now let's move on to the Champions League. Okay, my personal view is that they can have a decent run. If they can get to the semi-final, who knows what happens. Barney, we've only got a minute left. You wrap up your thoughts. Why don't you think they have no chance at all?
Well, I don't think they're going to win it. I wouldn't. You'd be a fool to say they have 0 chance. I mean, look at Chelsea or even Inter Milan to an extent when they win it. So, but I don't think they have 0 chance. But do I think they're going to win it? No. I think if they come up against a side like Bayern Munich, so good in the wide areas, so solid in the back, and so just robust in midfield. I think the Atletico Madrid are really going to struggle to get a foothold in a game like that, and I don't fancy them. I also fancy they lost on away goals to Barcelona in the Super Cup. They went up against Barcelona in 2 legs, an ever improving Barcelona. I wouldn't see them having much of a chance over 2 legs against Barcelona, and even Real Madrid for that matter. I really do think Real Madrid are on the up, and I think that they would beat Atletico in 2 legs. So I don't think they will win it. I think they'll have a good run if they're lucky with the draw. But as soon as they come up against one of those big 3 in particular, I think they'll struggle, and I would expect them to go out.
For me, I think they've shown against Barcelona they can at least play on a reasonably level playing field. They've beaten Real Madrid, so unless they come up against Bayern Munich, and if they can beat those 2, I think those 2 improved from last season. They're not going to. Barcelona, I don't think we're going to lose 7-0 to Bayern Munich this season. So I think if they can play those 2, then they have a chance. Okay, we're running out of time, so thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.